morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Bear Evans with Lil Mike Fight Night, and today we're going to be going over the Sphere getting leaked, who is the headline and co-headline main event, and also we're going to be going over Paddy Pimblett fighting out his contract in the UFC. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's go ahead and get with the UFC Sphere getting leaked. Play.
During UFC Denver last night, the French-Canadian broadcast may have leaked the UFC 306 Sphere card. They say that Ilia Topuria will be fighting Max Holloway, and Sean O'Malley versus Merab is also on the card.
Alors, au mois de septembre, ça va être tout un événement, le Dolce UFC, le 14 septembre, à l'intérieur de la sphère, Las Vegas. On a déjà quelques combats qu'on peut vous annoncer. Ilia Topuria contre Max Holloway pour le championnat des poids plumes. Et il y a aussi Sean O'Malley contre Paddy qui sont confirmés pour ce match. Vous avez vu la sphère.
And that's going to wrap.
Dang, guys. French freaking dropped the ball. The French UFC, guys. It's official. Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean Sugar O'Malley, guys. I cannot wait. What a banger of a card. A few things I want to go ahead and preference right now. The first thing would be, is the featherweight championship, Max versus Ilia, going to be for the BMF as well? Drop your comments down below. What do you think? You think it's going to be just for the title or for the BMF as well? Or is Max saying, nah, fuck that. I'm going to be, if you want the BMF, you got to meet me over here at lightweight. Secondly, O'Malley versus Merab. He's been calling for the Sphere probably the longest since anyone else. If there's one thing that O'Malley is better at than in his striking, is going to be, you know, him knowing exactly how to set him up in business, whether that is his next move, advertising, marketability, market share. All of the above, Sean O'Malley is a master of it. The second he knew that the Sphere was on Dana White's radar, since the beginning on his Sphere, Dana White, Sphere, that's all he's been saying, so much that he actually gave up asking for it, because he said, you know what, the Dana White makes these calls, the UFC makes these calls, so does Hunter. I'm going to go ahead and quit bothering on this, and they will hit me up whenever they do. So it's so cool to see that it actually happened, guys. I think these are two of the most exciting fights that we can see in the UFC. So let's go ahead and break down first Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway, guys. I can't wait to see Ilia Topuria fight someone with a little bit more volume, more pressure, and a harder chin. I know Emmett, awesome strikers, got a chin, but you know, he's looking for haymakers, he's looking for bombs. Topuria doesn't telegraph how Emmett does, and you know, and so I'm really going to like seeing Max Holloway. You know, obviously Volkanovski, he's a better striker than his ground game, but, you know, he doesn't have these hands that are knocking people out, putting people to sleep, you know. Max Holloway is that guy when it comes to striking. You know, he's one of the best boxers in the UFC. He's a self-proclaimed, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. Y'all remember that? If you do, drop your comments down below. I'm the best boxer in the UFC. And he's dodging shit and fucking boxing. I cannot wait to see that happen, guys. I'm so excited for that fight. Then we have Sean O'Malley fighting Merab. What an awesome co-main event. Kind of a surprise that it's not the main event because, I just hit my camera. Because everyone's always like, oh, no, it's the weight class above is what headlines. That's not true whatsoever, because if that was true, that means that Tom Aspinall would be above Leon Edwards. Boom. Just shattered that logic right there. So, it is a little bit surprising because Sean O'Malley right now is one of the biggest stars, but here's why I think Sean O'Malley is not headlining. The majority of his fans are not old enough to buy pay-per-views or don't buy pay-per-views. What they do is they stream their fights. I am a huge Sean O'Malley fan. I might be the only diehard Sean O'Malley fan that actually buys the pay-per-view every time they fight, but that is just the reality of it. If your fan base is under the age of, 30 years old, the reality is that they're going to start streaming more. Secondly, Merab is not a big name whatsoever. He has the Georgians behind him, but, he's not a big draw whatsoever. Ilia Topuria has all of Spain behind him, the El Matador. I mean, they are going to be buying that pay-per-view. I don't know if they're going to be behind him, and it's going to be such a cataclysmic event as when Conor McGregor had all of Ireland behind him, but it does seem something's different about Topuria when it comes to a country standing behind him, and that is Spain. He also has Georgia as well, which is where he's from. but he claims Spain because that is where he's been living the majority of his life. And now you have Max Holloway, always going to be a pay-per-view star. He is a star. He is now just elevated into the ethers by knocking out freaking Justin Gaethje in the 5th round. Last second to go. Absolute banger fight to win that BMF strap. He ripped it off and put him on in the most spectacular yet humbled fashion. So that's why I think they are over Sean O'Malley's, because it is bigger pay-per-view stars. Do I think more people know who Sean O'Malley is than Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway combined? For sure, more people would recognize O'Malley over them two combined. Not a doubt. Look at their numbers too and their analytics. That probably is true at the end of the day as well. But when it comes to who is going to be spending that $79.99 to buy a pay-per-view, guys, that is what it's all about. And so y'all heard it here. Now, the next thing I want to go over, which I don't even know what the heck I'm going over anymore because we've been doing this for a little bit. Oh yeah, it's going to be Paddy Pimblett fighting out his contract. So let's go ahead and click play on this one. But before we get into it, guys, who do you think is going to be a more exciting fight? Sean O'Malley or Merab, Ilia Topuria, Holloway? I see two strikers fighting it out. I don't know if one of them is going to get knocked out, but I don't think his name is Max Holloway. I just think Topuria is very defensively sound, so it's hard for me to see Ilia getting knocked out as well too. But he's still very new to the game with this level of competition. Thirdly, O'Malley versus Merab. What do y'all think happens there? Everyone keeps waiting for O'Malley to get taken down. I don't see it happening. Merab is not a submission guy. He is a single leg guy. He's going to grab that single leg, put you against the cage, try to take you down, ground and pound you, smother you, get back up, take you down again, single leg, push you into the cage, repeat, repeat, repeat. That's why he's the machine. O'Malley is a sniper. Merab gets hit. I think that O'Malley snipes Merab and knocks him out clean. As we both know, Merab has been knocked out. If O'Malley didn't get taken down by Aljamain Sterling, I'm definitely not seeing it through a Merab. And I knew that O'Malley was going to lose that fight with Sterling. I knew. I also knew with Jan that O'Malley was going to lose that fight. And even though I loved O'Malley, I love watching him fight. Who doesn't like watching O'Malley fight? He's like the most beautiful striker in the UFC. It is such an entertainment to watch Sean O'Malley fight. Not only is he a beautiful striker, the difference between him and someone beautiful like doing like the hip, leg, and all the other feints would be Israel Adesanya, except Sean O'Malley brings it. He's bringing the fight. He doesn't stay back. He doesn't just counter. He's not, on the back, on the outside. He's doing his feints, and he's also getting in there, and he's making it happen. Sean O'Malley goes for it. He exerts his will on his opponent all the time. That's why I love him, and I can't wait to see him fight. But with that being said, let's go ahead and click Paddy Pimblett fighting out his contract in the UFC 304.
Paddy Pimblett will be fighting out his contract when he takes on Bobby Green at UFC 304 in Manchester, England. Pimblett, who has maintained a perfect 5-0 record in the UFC, is set for his 6th fight and his first bout against a ranked opponent. Despite the significance of this fight, Pimblett revealed in a recent interview with MMA Junkie that it will be his last under his current UFC contract, and he hinted at the possibility of exploring opportunities to box YouTubers in the future. It goes without saying, I wouldn't want to go to a different organization, Pimblett told MMA Junkie. UFC is the cream of the crop. It's the main place. When you say to people, I do mixed martial arts, most of them go, what's that? You say, UFC. People don't even know what mixed martial arts is. They know what UFC is. You never know though. Some of these stupid YouTubers who are boxing could end up offering me millions to end up fighting one of them. So we'll see what happens. While it would be surprising if the UFC lets Pimblett leave in free agency, they are allowing him to fight out his current deal. Pimblett is confident that a win over Bobby Green will enhance his market value, setting the stage for better negotiations. Should he defeat Bobby Green at UFC 304, Pimblett hopes to fight someone higher ranked, eyeing a potential matchup with Renato Moicano, and said this: Obviously, if I fight again this year, then I'm going to want to fight someone else and get in the rankings, and I'm going to want to fight someone higher up in the rankings. Me and Moicano have had a little back and forth. I'd love to fight Moicano. I think it would be absolutely hilarious to do a season of The Ultimate Fighter with him. I think that would be one of the best seasons they've ever done. We'll see what happens. This is the last fight on my contract, so we'll be getting back to the renegotiation table after this. So we'll see what happens. Pimblett's last fight was a decision win over Tony Ferguson in December, and he aims to continue his winning streak against Green, which could potentially set the stage for more lucrative opportunities.
This video is powered by Buzz Brands, guys. Visit buckabuzz.com, buckabuzz.com, link in the description. Type in bear in the notes when you're making a purchase. That's BEAR, buckabuzz.com. They offer high quality, low dose THC products at an affordable price point, guys. There's no paranoia. This is the best way to be a functional stoner, which is absolutely what I am. Take this with the family, take this in the bedroom, take this when doing your sports, guys. It's the best way to spend $5. This is for someone with a low tolerance, or someone who is new to marijuana, or who's like me and just takes a lot of tolerance breaks. Now let's get back to the show. We're going to go ahead and pause that there, guys. A little bit interesting, you know, Paddy Pimblett's like, hey, this is my last fighting contract. Remember, guys, in the UFC, they have these lock-hold contracts. You can't do anything, i.e. a boxing match, or, you know, go get your own sponsorships inside the ring while you are with the UFC, guys. So that's why these guys like to fight out their contracts. Then they can go do whatever they want if it is within their contract. Now, Paddy is smart, though, but the thing is Paddy, it's a little bit on this conundrum here. In Cage Warriors, he was a GOAT, champion, all that stuff. I mean, on top of the world, you know, and then he comes over to the UFC, only fought one ranked guy, which was Tony Ferguson. He had to have been ranked back then. He was, and, you know, he was washed up, needs to retire. He had a great first round versus Tony Ferguson. Then he got worn out, he emptied out the gas tank, and the last 2 rounds were all about survival. In my opinion, Paddy, the Paddy Pimblett, is not ready for anyone in the top 10, much less the top 5. He needs years and years more of work to get there and to really hone in on his craft, not only with his grappling, but his striking and his defense, too. I just don't see that happening. He's talking about wanting to go box. Paddy, well, you need to be a better boxer to go box, right? He has the star power for sure over in the UK or Ireland. You know, he can go do whatever the heck he wants to do over there in terms of boxing. When it comes down to actual fighting and building a pedigree, I think he needs to slowly kind of, you know, I like his idea going over Moicano and things like that, just slowly building up the ranks. He needs to keep getting better. But the thing is, too, Paddy doesn't want to prematurely extend his contract before he has a big win, because then he won't have as much betting chips or leverage in that negotiation. So think about this, guys. Paddy the Baddy got 1 fight left. Okay, he had a mediocre performance with Tony Ferguson. The UFC is going to be like, oh, Paddy, I see you want to increase by 40%, but here's the thing, is like, you just barely beat Tony Ferguson. You had 1 really good round. That was it. It was only 3 rounds. You didn't even have the cardio. What happens when you fight a 10th-ranked guy and then you lose, and so now we've committed all this money? You see how that can start to look negative when it comes to wanting to be proactive in making a briefing in order to ask for a contract renegotiation? You see what I'm trying to say? So, with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, really, in my opinion, what he's doing, waiting to renegotiate, have a really good and impressive win over Bobby Green, show that Paddy the Baddy actually is improving his game. There are levels to it. Get an impressive win over someone who's ranked like Bobby Green, who's an active UFC veteran. Then he can go ahead and renegotiate his contract. If he loses to Bobby Green, which I think that he personally will, love your personality, Paddy, but I believe in the ring man ever since, who was that guy? Jordan, God dang, I don't even remember, you know, because he's not really that big of a, whatever. Whenever you fought that Jordan guy, the guy before Ferguson, and you said you just coasted the 3rd round, that's when I gave up on you, you know, and I realized, okay, he really doesn't have the heart for this to be a champion, and that is just my opinion, and so I believe Bobby Green go ahead and wins it. If he loses, though, he can go box now. He's not in a contract. There's no legal issues whatsoever, and he can go ahead and get that bag with his UK and Irish fans. And so with all that being said, guys, if you appreciate all this coming out, me grabbing all these videos, piecing together, subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment. It really helps. Hopefully, I'll have the full studio finished by the next time you see me. With all that being said, love y'all. I'm out. Peace.